welcome back to my channel. We have completed week 26 of our Bible in a Year challenge. So we are halfway through our challenge for the year. You should be so very proud of yourself. I pray that you have been getting so much out of what we've been reading. And I pray that God has been speaking to you. I pray that the word, that you've been meditating on the word, but that the word has also um, become alive in your heart and in your mind, and that as you go through your day, the word is like that you're not just reading the word, but you're doing the word, that the word is changing you, that the word is making you a better person and drawing you closer to him. So with that, I just wanted to go over my thoughts of our readings for this past week. And then at the end, you'll see our reading plan for week 27 and and what we're going to get into then. So this past week we read the end of Deuteronomy. We got into the beginning of Joshua. We we're in Psalms 119. We finished up that psalm and then went up to Psalms 128. So we're almost finished Psalms as well. We went into Isaiah middle at like chapter 57 to 63, and then got into Matthew as well up to chapter 11. So everything that we read, the common thread that I saw this week as I read, and I'm titling this Choose Life. That's what I got out of our reading this week. So I'm going to share a few scriptures with you to tell you why that's the theme that God spoke to me. Choose life. So my theme for this week basically came out of the beginning of our reading, which was in Deuteronomy chapter 30. So this is the end of Deuteronomy. The Israelites are getting ready to go into their promised land that God has promised them. They're getting ready to take that territory. And so Moses is rehearsing their whole journey with the Israelites and kind of telling them what's going to happen to them. He's prophesying to them. Like there's going to be these blessings that we talked about last time that will come upon you if you do these things. There will be these curses that also come upon you if you do these things. And then pretty much here he's saying, so you're going to be blessed, but you're also going to be cursed because you're going to do both things. But this is the end of Moses talking to the Israelites, again, preparing them as they get ready to enter in. So to me, he is exhorting them to choose life. So I want to read verses from chapter 30, verses 3, 6, and 9. So verse 3 is, then he will restore your fortunes. So again, after they've done all these things, actually the beginning of chapter 30 says, when all of these things happen to you, the blessings and the curses. So he's telling them both of these things are going to happen to you because you're going to disobey. But then he will restore your fortunes, have compassion on you, and gather you again from all the peoples where the Lord your God has scattered you. So God is going to restore their fortunes. Then in verse 6, the Lord your God will circumcise your heart and the hearts of your descendants, and you will love him with all your heart and all your soul, so that you will live. And then again, I wanted to do verse 9 as well. The Lord your God will make you prosper abundantly in all the work of your hands and your offspring, the offspring of your livestock and the produce of your land. Indeed, the Lord will again delight in your prosperity as he delighted in that of your fathers, when you obey the Lord your God by keeping his commands and statutes that are written in this book of the law, and return to him with all your heart and soul. So he's telling them, you guys, you're going to rebel. You're going to chase after these other guys. You're going to do things that God has warned you not to do. But then you're going to come back. And when you come back, God is going to restore you, because we have such an amazing, loving God and Father. that that wants us and longs to be in relationship with us. So this choose life that I got is from in this next section at the end of Deuteronomy 30. So it's basically Moses is telling, he says, choose life so that you and your descendants may live. This is the end of verse 19. Love the Lord your God, obey him, and remain faithful to him. For he is your life, and he will prolong your days as you live in the land the Lord swore to give your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Choose life. Love the Lord your God. Obey him and remain faithful. Is that not what we should all be striving to do? Is love God, obey God, and remain faithful. Because again, why we obey? We love him because he first loved us. We obey him because we know he has our best interests at heart. He knows the plans that he has for us. He created us for a purpose in this earth. So we obey him because we love him. It's an act of love. And remain faithful to him. So I love this exhortation for the Israelites. Like, okay, this is the blessings, these are the curses. You're going to be blessed. You're also going to be cursed because you're going to be disobedient. But God is going to draw you back to him. And when you come back to him, what Moses is saying, choose life. Why would you choose death and these curses when God is saying that he wants to give you all these blessings? He's giving you a land flowing with milk and honey. So choose life. So I love that portion of this word. So of course we get to the end of Deuteronomy where Moses dies, and of course the Israelites mourn for that, and Joshua the son of Nun, who was serving Moses, is now going to lead the Israelites into the promised land. And it says at the end that God is filling him with the spirit of wisdom because Moses had laid his hands on him. So now the Israelites are about to go into this promised land flowing with milk and honey, where the true test is going to be what they're going to choose. Are they going to obey God and choose life, or are they going to disobey? So as we get into the book of Joshua, one of the first people we meet is a woman, amazing woman named Rahab. And again, my theme of choose life, Rahab chose life. The people of Jericho were frightened. Fear had come into their hearts because of everything that they had heard about the Israelites and the God that they served. And so Rahab helps these spies that are coming in before the Israelites are going to come in and, take the land. So she helps them, risking, I'm sure, her own life because she's helping spies against her own country and countrymen. So she helps them, tells them how to escape and everything, but asks them to save her and her family. And they promise her that everyone that is in her home when they come in will be saved. So Rahab, instead of choosing her country, everything that she had known and had lived before these Israelites, and I'm sure listening to the rumors and the gossip and whatever was going around about this great nation coming and the great God that they serve and all the things that he had done for them, Rahab had a choice to make. And when those spies showed up, she chose to be a blessing and to help them. She chose Jesus. She chose life. So just as Moses had prophesied, the Israelites, they get into the land that God has given them, but they start following pagan gods, start doing the practices and the things that the people around them were doing. They didn't remain set apart, but they started emulating and imitating and taking on the wickedness and the deeds that the people around them were doing. So in Isaiah, we see that the Israelites have now chosen these pagan religions, and they were following them. And so even up until when Jesus comes, there's a lot of things going on with the Israelites, and not truly having their heart circumcised, like we read before, to God. So I love Isaiah 61. I love this because, of course, this is what Jesus read when he went into the temple. Um, but I just love what this is saying and how much God loves us and what Jesus is coming to do. So I just want to read this starting at verse 1. It says, "The Spirit of the Lord is on me, because the Lord has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives and freedom to the prisoners, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor and the day of our God's vengeance, to comfort all who mourn, to provide for those who mourn in Zion, to give them a crown of beauty instead of ashes, festive oil instead of mourning, and splendid clothes instead of despair. And they will be called righteous trees, planted by the Lord to glorify him." The Lord will cause righteousness and praise to spring up before all the nations. So that's a little bit down further. But I just love that because Jesus, or this, and Isaiah is basically prophesying, but this is what Jesus says, and he's telling us why he came. He came to do all these things, turn our beauty to ashes. Pastor Osteen says that all the time, and I love when he says that. But he's coming because, again, there was sin and they had disobeyed, and now they had lost their country and they were scattered all over, and other people were ruling over them. And Jesus is coming, and they thought the Messiah was going to come and come in as a king and just triumph, and they didn't see or realize, which we see in the New Testament, how Jesus really was going to come. But this is what he's doing because he loves us. So why would we choose to follow these pagan gods that can't do anything for us, that were made by humans' hands, when Jesus is promising them freedom? He's promising them comfort. He's promising them crowns. He's promising them righteousness. So these are all the things that we get when we choose life and choose Jesus, as Rahab did. So in Matthew, Jesus says, this is chapter 11, verse 28. "Come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take up my yoke and learn from me, because I am lowly and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Why would you not choose life and choose Jesus? Because his yoke is easy and his burden is light. And he wants us. He says, "Come to me, all you who are weary." I know that it is so hard trying to do this life, for me, in my experience, without God, because there is a place inside of our spirit for him, and when we don't have that, we're trying to fill that void or that emptiness with so many other things, whatever it is, work, food, like some people, drugs, alcohol, all kinds of things, trying to fill up this void that can only be filled with Jesus. And so when we come to him and we can lay our burdens on him, and we can give him our heart and give him our everything, life becomes such a joy, like that can't, and you have such a peace, like that peace that surpasses all understanding. That's real. Like when all chaos could be happening around you, and you are at peace because you are in relationship with God, you know what God has for you. He has just given you that calm peace. And so it's saying like his yoke is easy, his burden is light. And it is when we obey him. When it gets hard is when we're fighting him. And I've done that too. Like I've fought against what God has told me to do because I was being stubborn and didn't want to do it, or for some reason we think we know better than God, and we don't understand. But when we get to the point that um we know that no matter what is happening, and what we think might be crazy, that God knows he everything that we're going to do, and we're just walking the path. And so when we pray, God, order my steps, we know that wherever we're going, whatever we're walking to, he's with us, and he's ordained it for a reason. So when I say that, I can truly say that everything that I've been through wasn't for me, it was for someone else, and I've been able to use it to bless and minister to other people. Not I mean every little thing. So God is so good, and why would you not choose a life with him? So I want to end in Psalms. I hope you guys have been enjoying reading the Psalms, like I had mentioned before in our Facebook group. I hope that you are um, listening to some songs as you are reading through this book. Uh, I know every time I read these, and some of the words or verses remind me of other church songs, I'll sing that song while I'm reading it. Um, but what I have been doing is just on YouTube, going on and listening to Fred Hammond, because I just love him. I just love him. So I've been listening to that and just singing the songs. But I wanted to just share just a couple of things from Psalms, because what he kept saying over and over again and what we were reading was, I put my hope in your word. And that's I want to go to that, because that's where that peace comes from. If our hope is in him and in God and in his word, that's what stills my spirit. That's what can stills my spirit. But we read that over and over again in this, was I put my hope in him. So what I wanted to do is read Psalms 119, and I want to read verse 107, which says, Lord, give me life according to your word. The next verse, and teach me your judgments. I do not forget your instruction. I have your decrees as a heritage forever. Indeed, they are the joy of my heart. I am resolved to obey your statutes to the very end. So to me, this is where the psalmist is choosing life, is choosing to obey the word, is choosing to be taught by God, is choosing to follow his instruction and obey his statutes to the end. 113, but I love your instruction. I will not be double-minded, but I love your instruction. You are my shelter and my shield. And then yet again, I put my hope in your word. Our hope is in this word. Again, like I said last time, it's full of so many blessings for us. It's a love letter to us from God of all that he has for us, of why we are here, our purpose, his love, and all the sacrifices that he's made for us. And why would we not put our hope in him, our hope in his word, because his word never changes. It is the same yesterday, today, and forever. What he says, he definitely will do. his word will not return unto him void. So if we put our hope in him and in his word, we are good. So I encourage you to choose life, to choose Jesus, to choose to obey him, even when it doesn't make sense, to choose to follow him and listen to him and follow the instruction of the word. So I hope you had a great week. I don't know what theme came out of what you were reading, but that's what I saw this past week. When you see in the next few shots, you'll see our reading plan for week 27. We're on week 27, so you can take a snapshot of that. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to this channel, share this video, like this video. There's also another video that I did on Matthew when we finished it the first time, so I'll share that as well if you want to just go through some highlights of Matthew, because we are in the midst of Matthew again now for the second time. And I just pray that you have a wonderful and blessed week. Happy reading, everyone.